Haha, fooled ya. Thought you were gonna get a video yesterday. Not. Today, we came back from a 3-day weekend. Yesterday was President's Day, so we did not have school. Hence, I did not vlog because there wasn't really anything to say. Basically, I sat at home all day and wrote lesson plans, and then I went to the library for that night and wrote lesson plans and printed stuff off for those lesson plans. And today I executed those lesson plans. So yeah, so it was a pretty productive weekend. I did the small stuff first so I could feel like I got a lot done, but I didn't quite get all of the big stuff finished. So I still have a lesson plan that I'm doing Thursday and Friday. I still have to actually put that together. Like, I know what I want and what I need to put in it, and I know what I want to do. But I just finally found a cool website that'll let me do that. And I've been playing around with it today after school a little bit. I had some time to play with it, and I think it's gonna actually work. It might be a little bit confusing for my kids, but it's you'd play with artificial intelligence, so the computer does the math and all that stuff for you. You just have to strategize and get the hint of the war. And so I'm gonna have them play that. And so I'm going to have them do that and learn about the European theater of the war. I know my honors kids will kind of be interested in the little app game. It's basically Risk, but online and simpler, and it's focused just on Europe, which I lucked out finding that, so that'll be fun for them to do. My third period class, like always, was golden, and we got through everything. Pacing was great. We ended right on time. And it went really well. And then one of my kids in that class is in the show choir, and they had a big competition this weekend, and so we watched part of their routine instead of watching the morning and midday announcements. I actually can't get the midday announcements on my laptop, and so I can't play them for the kids. So we listened to the announcements on the board, but I can't play, on the speakers, but I can't play the video that they do at my school. And so we just watched the show choir dance instead, and that was fun. I'm glad he was willing to show us that, and they did pretty good. And then in my next class, the difficult one, they were a little less difficult. I feel like they're always going to be difficult, but they self-managed a lot more. I feel like if we didn't have all of the dead time, we would have gotten through the notes and got through everything smoothly. But I had them take a quiz, which, you gotta take a quiz if you gotta take a quiz. But it was a 20-question quiz, and a lot of the kids finished before others, and some of the ones that finished got bored easily. And so when they got bored, they started walking around and doing whatever, and it just didn't really work out that well to get them calmed down from the beginning. A lot of them were taken aback that we had a quiz. They were like, "We got a quiz? I don't know it. I'm not gonna do well on this." One kid had the nerve to say, "I didn't learn anything." What did we learn? We didn't learn anything in this last couple classes. And I'm like, one, you've been here, haven't you? You got the review sheet, didn't you? There's a thing called Google and a textbook. And I had them last on Thursday, so they had 4 days to get the review sheet done and everything. So I'm just like, you had time. There's really no excuses, even if you don't feel like you learned anything in class, even though I definitely had you write notes and I definitely had activities both days. If you'd feel like you didn't learn anything, there was a review sheet. You could have looked up the answers and taught yourself if you don't feel like I taught you anything. So I was just kind of annoyed at her, because her and a couple of the other ones who were confused and not thinking they were going to do well on the quiz either sleep or they're on their cell phones the whole time. Even if I go by and be like, "Hey, stop using the cell phone, pay attention," type of thing. It's not my fault you didn't learn the information. You should have been paying attention, type of thing. And there's definitely, they just finished a part of the notes that was on the quiz today. So that's definitely, I look at that question to see how many of them, how many of they got right, how many of them got it right and got it wrong, so that I know to say, well, take that question out or leave that question in or whatever. So, I mean, I'm definitely not going to grade them on something we didn't get to go over, even though they had the review sheet. So I'll see. There's one question that particularly asked about the activity we were supposed to do, but we never got to that activity in that class. And so that question I'll look at to see how everybody did on, and see what's going on with that. But the rest of it, like, you had a review sheet. You knew this quiz was coming. I had time to tell you about the quiz. There's really no excuses, except for you forgot, or you just didn't feel like it. So I'm going to grade them as is and see what happens. But that's what that's all about. And they were better for me. Like I said, they self-managed, but they were still pretty rowdy. And of course, the ones that usually aren't so loud, but they do have side conversations, we're talking to the other side, like, we can take notes and talk at the same time. We can do this. Y'all the ones that can't concentrate. Y'all stop us from getting through the notes. And I was like, well, both of you guys right now are actually like stopping us from getting through the notes. So let's be quiet and get through the notes. Like, it took the first class I had, it took them 30 minutes maybe to get through the notes, and then they had like other activities that took some time, and then we actually watched videos in that class too. Like, we got through everything, but in that class we didn't watch any of the videos. We only did like one of the activities, and it took them the whole class to get through the notes and do the quiz. Like, I don't know I don't know what to do with that class. And then they asked me, like, why is it taking us so long? It feels like we've been doing notes for the whole class. And I'm like, that's because we are, because you guys won't be quiet so we can get through the notes. Like, it's one thing if you're asking questions about the notes and giving input about like the topic, but if you're just having side conversations and you're being loud and I can't like talk over you and you're not paying attention, so you're not writing down the notes, so it takes you like 10 minutes to write down one slide, there's nothing I can do about that. So that's my little 2 cents from today that I'm trying to get better on, getting them back on task. And it's like, I definitely can do more to get them back on task, but I can't do all the work. Like, they have to help me. They have to pay attention. They have to stick with me for the boring part, so we can get to the more fun parts. But yeah, so that went pretty well. And then my sociology class I had today, we basically just watched a documentary, and we talked about the conflict theory perspective of education and how like inequality and conflict drive society, and so how education, when it's set up on an unequal playing ground, and there's like disparities in education primarily based on race and socioeconomic class, then that furthers the conflict theorist perspective of things. So we had a good little conversation about that. We're going to do more about the conflict theory and like what they can do to stop inequality in education, or like suggestions they have and other ways to do that next class. And we're going to do some research on our school specifically, or they're going to do the research, and then we're going to have a discussion. And so I should probably do the research too, just so I have the right numbers and can contribute to the discussion. So we'll see how that goes next class. But tomorrow's just a repeat of today, and I will let you know what all happens with that. But I will leave with this one piece of good news. I got a job offer for the district I'm currently in, so yay! And I am waiting to see how my interview with the nearby district goes, the one with all the technology, because I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to be at or which one I want to be at, and so it might come down to money, and it might come down to just overall feeling of where I want to be for at least the next 5 years. Like, I don't plan on switching. If I'm at a good school that certifies the Teach Grant and gets me into the loan forgiveness program. So I am good with either one of those, but I want to make sure I'm making the right decision. So I'm waiting for the other district to get back to me, but I do for sure have one job offer. I have not sent my letter of like intent to work there yet, just because I'm still waiting. But once I get the information for the other one, I will be able to make an informed decision, and I will of course let y'all know what happens with that. But I just wanted to tell you that I got a job. So I'm for sure going to be in the area, whether I'm at the one district or the other, but I'm for sure going to be here for at least 5 years. So everything's going pretty good other than that 5th period class, but I mean, hey, what more can you ask for? Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up lesson planning and different stuff like that, and I will see you tomorrow. Remember, make today great.